Hey boys, good morning. All right, how's everybody? Can you see me okay? Can you hear me okay? Give me a little bit of feedback. There's things that I've been doing behind the scenes today, and I just want to make sure everything's crystal clear and ready to go. Glad to see so many people here bright and early. As per usual, we have an interesting show lined up for you today. Something a little bit different. If you guys were here last week, we talked about doing a little behind the scenes video. And I don't know how many of you participated in last week's live show, but I'm going to be giving you a little sneak peek at some interesting things today. I got another camera set up here, and there's a shot of the stuff that we have lined up today. I want to talk to you about stuff that you don't usually see on the show. So I'm going to be taking some questions because today I'm flying without a net. Usually I have topics that I want to talk about during the show. But this week, I'm basically going to let it fly. You know, you guys are going to be driving the content in terms of the types of topics we talk about today. All right. So now we're going to be looking at a couple of different questions that we have lined up already. And MFN already has a question here. So let's just jump into that before we get into the other stuff. He says, Tony, my high E, B, and G strings on my 2019 Fender American Pro Strat fret out on frets 12, 13, and 14, respectively. My tech could not figure it out. Could it be a twist in the neck? It could be. So there's a couple of things I would look at. If it's happening high up on the 12th, 13th, 14th especially, you might just have a high fret in there. But if your tech is a decent tech, he should have been able to see that. Now, if he didn't mention that there's a high fret, which could easily be fixed by a quick leveling, there might be a warp in the neck, which is not good. Because then what you're going to have to do is remove the frets, replane the neck, re-level the neck so it's not warped anymore, and put the fret back, all the frets back in. But I'm surprised that he wasn't able to tell you whether or not you had a warp there. Maybe you should bring it to someone else. This is something that I wouldn't necessarily just guess. You know, you want to be dead on certain before you start trying to figure out what the remedy will be. So I take it to someone else and just get a second opinion on that, okay? But I have a feeling that it might be a warp, unfortunately. Sometimes, here's something I want to mention. First of all, Mark says, howdy, Tony, everyone. You have some audio issues. You can't hear me, guys? Can you hear me or not? Let me know if you can hear me, guys, because Mark seems to say here that I have audio issues. So I just want to make sure that that's not the case. But getting back to MFN's question, sometimes things like that can also be caused by a hump, caused by a shim. Do you have a shim in that neck by any chance? Do you want to, maybe you could take a look. Just remove the neck, see if a shim was placed in maybe at the factory. Jack says he hears me loud and clear. Mark says no issues. All right. Jean-Pierre says loud and clear. Okay, good. Gene says he hears me on only one channel. That is possible, Gene. It's only one microphone. It's mono, unfortunately. So yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. I think we had the same issue last week. Um, I'm gonna have to go with two mics. Hopefully, maybe when we do the other, I'll switch to the other camera later on, and I'll put on a lapel mic, and maybe that'll resolve the issue. We'll see. Either that or it'll make it worse. We'll see what happens. Okay, for those of you who are new to the channel and you don't know the routine, basically we talk about gear for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how crazy things get. You are welcome to jump in on the chat. We always welcome questions, comments. If there's anything new during the week that you've acquired, you want to talk about that, or maybe you're looking at acquiring stuff, you want to talk about that as well. Please don't wait to bring it up. There's no predetermined cadence to the show. We just talk about whatever we feel and jump into things right off the bat. All right. So, also, please, if you don't mind, thumbs up are appreciated. It helps the channel, and we're getting quite a few people joining and subscribing to the channel on a regular basis. So I'm happy to see that, and we usually have a good return crowd here on weekends, and I'm always pleased to see you guys, and it's great to stay in contact with you guys. When some of you don't show up, I worry about you guys. I'm like, what happened to him? Is he okay? I want to just make sure everybody's always, in tip-top shape, and it's good to check in from time to time. You don't have to be here every Sunday. Everybody's got a life, but I do appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, so let's say hi to the guys that are here. We'll start from the bottom. Jack is here. Jack says, Tony, there's no poll question this week? No, Jack, I didn't do a poll question. I know you guys like those, but since we were kind of free-forming it today, we wanted to do kind of a behind-the-scenes look that I promised you guys. I figured, you know what, let's skip the poll question for this week. We'll jump back into it next week. So Jack is here. Paul is here. Zach Thong. Wayne. We have Keith as well, searching for tone. Wayne says, finally got the left channel better than nada. Paul is here as well. He says, I had one channel issue at the start, not now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe my unit is a little bit foobarred. I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, let's not jinx it. Let's hope it stays that way. Paul is here. David says, try adjusting the micro tilt. That fixed the same one on my Strat. So, okay, so he's referring to MFN. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes they put a little shim in there, and what happens if you don't put like a complete shim, like StuMax sells these wedges. They fit in the pocket, and they basically cover the entire pocket. If you don't cover the entire pocket and you just put a little piece of whatever in there, some people put picks, a piece of paper, they cut up a business card, whatever, and they slip it in there. What ends up happening is sometimes the wood will warp, and it could cause a twist. And if it's in the higher registry of your neck, that could be the issue. So maybe just take a look. But you can also try what David recommends. He says just try adjusting the micro tilt, and that seemed to have fixed his problem. So Jean-Pierre is here. Nice to see you. David is here. I think somebody had mentioned, I think Paul, you had mentioned something before the start of the show, something about a tip for people using multi-effects, I think, live. I'm curious to hear what the answer is to that. You piqued my interest on that. So let me know. All right, so I'm gonna scroll back down here. And Shane wants to know if anyone ever played Rev amps out of Winnipeg. I've played their amps, yeah. They're pretty cool. They're making a lot of ripples in the market. A lot of people do like what they're coming out with. I think they're geared to more modern music. They're not really. It's not really a take on classic. Like if you're looking for that classic Vox or Marshall or whatever, they're definitely doing their own thing. The prices on their amps are not inexpensive. They're pretty expensive, but generally they have a lot of really nice features. Some of their amps, even the lunchbox size amps that they sell, have everything in them. I mean, if you look behind those amps, they have everything for, you know, recording direct and all kinds of bells and whistles that they throw in there. And they do get a good reputation in the industry. I actually even saw a while ago they were doing a shootout. They had a whole bunch of amp builders in one room, and you can probably find this on YouTube somewhere. They had a whole bunch of people in one room. Dave Friedman was there. The guys from Rev were there. They had a few European builders as well. Like really high-end amp builders, and they were listening to everyone's amps. They were kind of doing the round robin, and they were trying to see if they can guess which amp was theirs. It was very interesting to hear and to see, because some people had trouble. And Dave Friedman said specifically, I remember this, that he thought that the Rev amps were the best sounding amps in the room. So coming from him, you know, Dave is the amp guru these days, right? He knows what he's talking about when it comes to tone, and he seems to really like them. So are you considering getting one of those, Shane? Is that the plan? Are you looking at something new that you want to get and you want to bring in? You're welcome, MFN. My pleasure. Hopefully either my response or the response from Davis can at least point you in the right direction. Hopefully you get that resolved. It's really it's really disheartening when you have a really nice guitar and you have an issue like that pops up. Hey, Cool Tunes, nice to see you. And Gene says, I'm not an addict, just guitarded. And Shane says, you can call me anything except a nerd. Yeah, man. We don't call anybody names here. Zach says, that's a beautiful top on the guitar. Thanks, dude. Yeah, this is the Gibson. That's one of the reasons why I bought this guitar. I couldn't say no to the top. It was really a really nice top. I bought this guitar off of eBay, believe it or not. Wouldn't recommend doing that. Took a chance. And this is one of my really one of my favorite guitars. It plays really nice. It's got a really nice neck on it, and I put a set of Monty's PAF pickups in here. If you guys know Monty, you know what I'm talking about. He makes really nice pickups. So I swapped out the standard pickups that were in it. There was a set of burst buckers in here first. Took those out, decided to put these in. Raw nickel covers, of course. And they sound great in this amplifier. I don't have it plugged in today because I have other things planned. So I didn't want to fool around with the settings too much. Now, the only thing about this guitar that bothers me, and this is a common thing on a lot of Gibsons, the G string, actually the G, the B, and the E string, the high G, B, and E string tend to go out of tune very easily. And I think that's due to the stock nut that they put in there. Eventually, I'm probably going to get another nut put in. I'll try fixing it by just filing it. Maybe it just needs a little bit of love and needs to have a little bit of a wider slot there so that the strings slip in and out more easily. But it's a common thing on these Gibsons, you know, especially the G string. There's a lot of people that say that they do get snagged up there. But it's a great guitar, love it. I I don't have many regrets about buying this guitar. It's got all the fancy push-pull pots in here. I even forget what they do. To be honest, hardly ever use them. Usually go, standard. But it's nice to have that option. So Cool Tune says, I'll have 3K to play with soon, selling my D28. Why are you doing that? You don't play it enough? Is that it? That's a great guitar, man. You might regret selling that guitar. Why are you thinking about getting rid of it? Curious here. Good morning, Rich. Nice to see you, man. We're just gonna wait for a few more people to pop in before we do the behind the scenes tour here. I figured I'd give you guys a chance to, ask questions and do all those things. On this side, you can see those boxes. I actually pulled those out. These are a few tickle trunks I have full of pedals. In case you're interested in seeing those, I have so the pedals lined up. I have my usual pedal board there that you see behind me here. I don't know if you can see that pedal board over there. Got some of the guitars and the amps and stuff. We'll talk about all that stuff and see if you guys have any questions. Shane says, I'd like one, but my wife would freak. Shane, what are we gonna do? That's a problem. There's got to be some kind of anniversary coming up. Wedding anniversary, maybe something that you can use, a birthday, something where you could maybe ask for a really nice gift like that. No, nothing. Jeff says, I got a Gretsch Players Edition G6228 Lefty yesterday. Very happy with it. How many of you out there in the list of the guys that are here today own a Gretsch? I'm curious to know. If you own a Gretsch, just say I in the comments. I don't have a Gretsch. That's a guitar I need to get. A lot of people really enjoy Gretsch guitars. I tried one. Well, I tried a few actually, and I was actually very impressed by the sound that I was getting from it. It played really, really well and sounded great. But I've never actually bought one. Maybe it's time. Cool Tune says, not playing enough. Well, Cool Tunes, if you're not playing it enough, that's an easy fix. It's a really nice guitar. That's all I'm saying, dude. And if you sell it, I mean, I understand your point of view, but I've made decisions like that in the past. I'd sleep on it just to make sure maybe you can sell another guitar. They're just going to go up in price. You know that, right? Just giving you some friendly advice. I'm not trying to change your mind. Ken says, a good excuse to use your new nut slotting gauge. Exactly, Ken. Well, that's what I was going to do. I have like a million projects right now. There's actually already another guitar on my bench that I'm working on. I'm changing out the guts, the electronics on that guitar, and I actually started filming a video for you guys with that. So if you're interested, that should be popping up soon. So that's already something that's in the works, so I'm gonna have to wait for this one. But to be honest, I don't play the guitar that often. Although it's a great guitar, I usually have like kick around guitars that I play more often. And the issue is when you have many guitars, like sometimes some of the guitars don't get enough love. This is one of them. So unfortunately, I gotta play this guitar more. Gene says, I didn't pay, so I'll close my eyes. What does that mean? Cool Tune says, I'm going to get a $1,500 acoustic and a USA Telecaster. That's my plan right now. So $1,500 acoustic and a USA Telecaster. Is that $1,500 just for the acoustic, or $1,500 for the acoustic and the USA Telecaster? Which one is it? I think today I'm a little bit concerned because I've been looking at, I need some guitar cases. And I usually buy molded guitar cases because I don't like the ones that are just covered in some, you know, some kind of like imitation leather, tweed, whatever. They're not as good. I mean, they get beat up a lot quicker. So I like to get the molded plastic ones. SKB makes really nice ones. There's a few different brands. So I've been looking at getting a few because I need some. And the prices on those things skyrocketed. Now, I don't know if this is just a Canadian thing, because maybe most of these are being made in the US or what. But I kind of was, I almost spit out my coffee yesterday. I was on, now I don't usually buy my cases off of Amazon, but I figured I'd take a look to see what Amazon has, right? So I typed in guitar case, molded, and they have a few. I couldn't believe what I was seeing in terms of prices. Now they have the, you know, the gig bags that Mono makes. They're not molded. They're just guitar bags that you can put. Like they're usually expensive, okay? But now I'm looking at this thing. They're asking $459 for a gig bag for a guitar. $459. When did this happen? I mean, I don't know what's up with the prices, man. A regular gator case, like a molded gator case for a bass, for example, is $279, almost $300 with taxes. That's crazy, man. They still have some that are less expensive, but they're hitting $200. Some of the less expensive ones. But when I saw those prices, I'm like, something's wrong. I can't believe it. The Fender Deluxe molded case, you know, the Fender versions, $339. I mean, man, what kind of guitar are you going to need to put in there to justify the cost? Spending $300 on a case. Used to be you can get a case for like $150, you know. I know it's a long time ago, things have changed, but pretty nuts, man. I don't know. I don't know what these prices are doing. So hopefully it's just an intermediate price adjustment. Maybe it's due to all the craziness that's been happening, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Rich says I picked up a limited Viper 1000 LTD. Let me take a look. I'm not that familiar with that model, so let me take a look at it. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Very nice. Now the pricing on these here in Canada are not inexpensive. We're looking over $2,000 for one. So how do you like it? And did you pick it up new or used? It looks like a nice guitar. Nice features. I mean, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like a modern take on an SG, right? Nice, very nice guitar. Hey, I love my SG, so if it plays anything like the one I have, should be a sweet guitar. Very cool, dude. Congratulations, man. I'm sure you're enjoying it. David says, like Mr. Dress Up's Tickle Trunk? Yeah, kinda. Yeah, man, if you guys are Canadian and you were, you know, born around the time I was born, you know Mr. Dress Up, right? Cool Tune says he really likes his Guild. Thinking of getting a 140 Guild or a D40 Guild as well. Cushman has one. MFN says I. Who else? Gene says he's got one too. Wayne says he's got one. And some guy says, I was impressed by a guild the other day. Very cool. A lot of you guys have guilds. Nice, man. I gotta catch up with you guys. David says that he always tried to get on with one, but he didn't like the neck on them. Why is that? What specifically don't you like about that neck? So Paul here, he says, box of the week, art tube amp, project series, 30th anniversary, small tube pre on your modular output, 220 bucks. Built in Canada, Long and McQuaid, 150 bucks. Not a typo, 150 loons. So what you're saying is just add the tube amp into your on the output of your modeler to make it sound warmer, make it sound more realistic. I could try that. I have a tube preamp. It's not that one. I have a different one, but I can try that. See if it makes a difference. Yeah, man. I just don't like overly complicated setups. You know, if there's a lot of things you got to plug in and attach and carry, and there's more things that could go wrong. But you know, for recording purposes, if it warms up the sound and makes it sound a little bit more realistic, more tubey, can we even say that? That would be cool. Nella's here. Hey, Nella. Nella says, treated myself to a new Gibson SG Junior for my birthday. I have a few Gretsch guitars, a few of them, huh? Streamline, Electromatic, very nice. So you're a Gretsch fan. If you have more than one Gretsch, I consider you a Gretsch fan. So tell me, what gets you into the Gretsch guitars? Like, I think every guitar has an artist associated with them. You know what I mean? If you look at a Gibson, for example, there's many Gibson players out there, you know, from Slash to Jimmy Page to, you know, everybody, Kossoff, and the list goes on and on and on. So when you look at a Gibson, you know, you associate it with all those great players. Look at a Strat, you know, you think Jimi Hendrix, you think Eric Clapton, you think Mark Knopfler, you think, you know, there's a million other players. Rory Gallagher, can't even speak this morning. Rory Gallagher, and the list goes on and on. Telecaster, who do you think? Who do you think about? I think, you know, Keith Richards obviously comes up in the Telecaster players. There's a lot of other players that are, you know, Nashville players, country players, and all that kind of stuff. But Jimmy Page also comes up in that group as well, because the early Yardbirds, early Led Zeppelin stuff was all recorded on a Telecaster. But Gretsch, you know, when you think Gretsch, who do you think of in terms of a player? You know, I think Chet Atkins at one point was playing Gretsch as well. I think, who do you think of? Angus Young's brother. He was playing Gretsch for a long time. I don't think he ever switched. Who else? Jean-Pierre says Beck. Yeah, Beck definitely. Well, Beck played both, right? He played Telecasters a lot. He did also play Les Paul, Strats, but I think primarily Strats. But I've seen him switch. He's played a lot of different instruments. Brian Setzer. Yeah, it's true. Absolutely. He's an animal on the Gretsch, man. He plays incredibly well. Yeah, David, Chet Atkins, yep. Yep, for sure. So, yeah, MFN says his first Gretsch guitar, his inspirations were Chet Atkins and Malcolm Young. Billy Duffy. I forgot about Billy. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Forgot about that. How can I forget about Billy? Yeah, he definitely rocks the Gretsch. I might have to get one eventually. It would be nice. Well, it says we had a couple of Chet Atkins records around when I was a kid in the 60s. Seeing Chet on the album holding a Gretsch burned the brand into my brain. It's funny how that happens when you're like young. You're very influenced, I think, right? Especially if you're into that kind of music. You immediately connect. Like for me, if I look at a Kramer Beretta, for example, I always think about Eddie. Who else am I going to think about? Who else was playing a Beretta back in the day? I mean, there was a couple of big hair bands that also played Berettas, but not that many. So whenever I see Kramer, the name Kramer on the guitar, I automatically think about Eddie. Zach says, for me, the two guitars of my collection I play all the time on my are my two custom acoustics called Suckless Guitars. Suckless Guitars. I like the name. Hey man, that's a great brand name. Do you work in marketing, Zach? I'd start a brand. Suckless Guitars and Amps. That'd be cool. You guys are funny. You make me laugh. Hey, did you hear about the poor drummer of the Foo Fighters got canned? I had a feeling it wasn't gonna last. Josh Freeze. If any Foo Fighter fans here, any Foo Fighter fans, when they brought him in, they did that whole live stream event where they just were playing music with him. I don't know if you guys saw that. He's a really good drummer, but I always felt like there was a little disconnection in terms of how he fit in the band. Now, I don't know why he was kicked out. It's only been 2 years, and a lot of things have happened in those 2 years. There's been a lot of, Dave and the affair and all kinds of things. But he did post a little message on, I don't know if it was on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, one of the platforms. He said, the Foo Fighters called me Monday night to let me know they've decided to go in a different direction with their drummer. That's kind of like a bullshit answer. We've decided to go into a different direction. That means like, we don't like you, man. There's something going on, because, how do you go in a different direction? The drummer's a drummer, right? Anyways, no reason was given apparently. He says, regardless, I enjoyed the past 2 years with them, both on and off stage, and I support whatever they feel is best for the band. So he's being very diplomatic. He has to be. He wants to leave, those doors open. Doesn't want to burn his bridges. You never know. He says he supports what they feel is best for the band. In my 40 years of drumming professionally, I've never been let go from a band. So he's kind of like, he's saying, I understand, but I don't get it. You have to read between the lines here. I've never been let go from a band, 40 years. He says, well, I'm not angry, just a bit shocked and disappointed. I'm pretty sure there's a little anger in there. Why wouldn't you be angry? But as most of you know, I've already worked freelance and bounced between bands, so I'm fine. Stay tuned for my top 10 possible reasons Josh got booted from the Foo Fighters list. At least he had a sense of humor about it. I'd like to see that list. I guess the fact that, Dave Grohl is a drummer himself maybe makes it even harder. You're more picky. But he's very talented, so I'm not worried about him. He's probably already been picked up by another band by now. I'm not going to worry about him. But yeah, it's kind of weird. And it's just, when somebody tells me no reason was given, like, how did they do this? They texted him? Like, how do you get rid of somebody and not, like, explain why? That's the least you can do. That kind of gives me a bad taste. So what do you think, man? What do you guys think on that? I know we're not drummers. We're mostly guitarists, so maybe we're not tuned in, but I'm curious to see what your take is on that. Chris Isaac, Rico, yeah, we're talking about Gretsch guitars. But is Chris really a guitarist, or is he just like a poser? Because he's mostly a singer, right? But I think he does play a little bit of guitars. Little guitar here and there. Gretsch guitars are very resonant, Gene. I mean, I would put them in the same category as a semi-hollow, like a 335. I love playing those guitars just because of the resonance. It's amazing. Do, 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 do. The 12th fret sight still shows Ed Bickert's well-worn Telecaster has a used ashtray. I gotta take a look at that. Okay. Guys, do you want me to start the show and tell aspect of the show, or do you want to talk a little bit more? Rico says, I wonder if Taylor Hawkins' son will take over. Is Taylor Hawkins' son like up to snuff? Does he have the chops? I mean, you got to be a pretty good drummer. Maybe that's the plan. Would make sense, you know? Kind of pass the torch. I think Taylor Hawkins fans would love it, and they would probably welcome him with open arms. The question is, does he have the talent to do it? Not sure. I like the Foo Fighters. I like Dave Grohl. Shane says going in a different direction means someone cheaper. I don't think they can afford a drummer. I'm not sure. Cooltoon says, Tony, that Charvel seems to have really hot pickups. Yeah, it does. The output on those pickups are pretty hot. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, Cooltoons? To be honest, I don't usually gravitate towards guitars with very hot output on the pickups, but for the Charvel, I wanted to have something different, and I wanted it to fit into that sort of 80s super strat type of category, and I'm okay with the hot pickups on that guitar. Now, that doesn't mean I might not change them eventually. Never say never. You guys know me, but you know, I like them for the reason that they're not the same as any of my other guitars. Searching for Tone says, hey, we're practicing Tuesday. You don't need to show up. We'll just use the beat, buddy. Do you think that's what they told him? Yeah, man, I don't know. He was a hired gun, David. Yeah, he was. I think he was just a fill-in. I'm sure they'll find somebody else. We'll see. Hey, maybe they're gonna get somebody else that's pretty famous. You know, maybe Jason Bonham or somebody like that. I don't think that's Jason's style. Like the Foo Fighters is not necessarily Jason Bonham style, but you never know, man. Maybe Grohl's wife had a crush on him. Could be. You know what happens in these bands, man. Anything goes. Hey, Tom F. How's it going, dude? Welcome. So Paul says he posted the box of the week. All right, cool. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that, man. Zach says, I love the Foo Fighters. That's really nice, cool. Not cool. I assume you were trying to say, not cool to give a reason to boot. That's like breaking up with a girl on a text message. I mean, look, the guy's been with you for 2 years. You know what I mean? And even if it's been only 1 year or 6 months, I mean, everybody deserves a reason. It doesn't make any sense. But you know how these things are. They probably got somebody from their entourage to break him the news. They probably didn't even tell him directly. Sometimes that happens in show business, you know. People get weird. Jeff says Zach Starkey to take over. Revenge on Daltrey and Townsend. That might be good. I see him doing that. That would be cool. So Gene says Fender Player Stratocaster. HSS with quarter pound pickups, limited edition electric guitar, British racing green. It's a fire breather. Is that what you have, Gene? Is that what you picked up? So you're getting like a almost like a super, well, it's a super strat if you're going with HSS, right? Configuration and racing green. So are those pickups pretty hot too, Gene, or are they kind of like still in the standard Stratocaster output range? All right, I'm just looking here, just scrolling. Cooltoon says they may want a drummer that has some input in their music moving forward. Yes and no. I mean, Dave Grohl is the drummer and he's the mastermind behind the Foo Fighters. I'm sure he's the one who says, hey, play it like this, especially if you're a drummer. The thing is, maybe Dave was telling him, hey, play it like this, and he wasn't. Maybe he was not doing exactly what he wanted him to do. And maybe, when you're a good musician, maybe you're giving too much input. Maybe David didn't like that. I don't know. Hard to say. Okay. Well, thanks for the input on that, boys. I always try and understand what's going on when I see something new. Did you guys see the stuff on Seymour Duncan recreated single coil pickup set for a 63 Strat, and they basically said that they reverse engineered an older set. I don't know why this is making headlines. I mean, Seymour Duncan makes pickups every day, and every day they put out new ones, and every time they put up a new set of pickups, it's always going to be the best ones ever. But they're still making headlines. I don't know. I mean, as a pickup maker like Seymour Duncan or others, how do you keep it fresh? I mean, after a while, a pickup is a pickup. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just getting jaded over the years, but it seems like a lot of it has to do with mojo and marketing. When they're putting out pickups and they're always saying that they're better and better and better and the prices keep going up, I mean, how much better are they? Tony C says, never see you play an Ibanez guitar. Do you like them? Tony, from Tony to Tony C, I do like Ibanez guitars. I've had a few over the years. Actually, my very first guitar was an Ibanez. I talked about it on the show a while ago. I actually showed some pictures. It was a Roadstar 2 Ibanez guitar. Blackout, everything was black on it. It was pretty cool. Very first guitar. Since then, I've had, I'm going to say 3 or 4. I had an RG, which was fluorescent yellow, like a highlighter yellow. Cool guitar. I had a gem. Now, it wasn't the American-made gems, too expensive. I had the Indonesian version of the gem. Kept it for a while. Liked it, but I didn't like it that much, so I ended up selling that guitar. And I also had one of the early, I think it was the SZ model. It's in one of my early videos, which was basically a gold top, neck through body design with the strings going through the body. Cool guitar. That was an Ibanez also. And then there was another one. I'm just thinking back. A few have come and gone over the years. Another one, I think it was also an RG model, 2 humbuckers with a veneer top on it. Also kept that for a while, and then sold that as well. What I've come to learn is that I like Ibanez guitars, but I like the other guitars more. And recently I was in the guitar shop and I picked up an Ibanez guitar that they had there, one of the more recent models, and it didn't do it for me. It really sounded dead. It didn't have resonance, and I like what Ibanez is doing right now because they've kind of shifted some of the designs on their guitars to be more like the Sur guitars. You know, really nice tops, subdued inlays. Like they used to have those lightning bolt, shark tooth inlays and stuff. Never really liked those. It was just a bit too flashy for me. So I like what they're doing with the styling on the guitars, but it just didn't feel resonant when I picked it up. It felt a little cheap, so I just put it back on the shelf. Now I'm not saying all Ibanez guitars are cheap; they're not. But that one that I tried the other day didn't do it for me. So that doesn't mean I won't have one eventually again. I don't have any right now. Going through the questions here. Cooltoon says, I once had a Jap Strat. I put Seymour hot rails. Missed them. They were very hot. Yeah, the hot rails they're really aggressive. Those old Japanese Strats, by the way, the ones that are, they have the Floyd on them, the locking tremolo and stuff. Those are cool guitars. Like if you find one in the wild, they're really nice. A lot of them also had a veneer top. They had like a flamed veneer top. Unfortunately, that's the Achilles heel of that particular guitar model. A lot of those flame veneer tops ended up cracking over time. If you look at some of because they're older guitars, they're still floating around on the used market, but you often see them with cracks in the top for some reason. I don't know why. It's unfortunate because those are cool guitars. ARF says my Epiphone 04 pickups were not good to me. Besides the mess of wax in the pickup cavity, they were muddy. They were hot but muddy, I guess you meant to say, right? Yeah, I see the correction there. I'm very picky when it comes to neck pickups that are humbuckers. A lot of the neck pickups that I play in guitars, I don't like if they're humbuckers. There's only a few that I do like. This, the Monty's guitar neck pickup is great. This is why I love these pickups so much. They're fantastic. The ones that I have in my Tokai, which is not here today, those were wound specifically for me, and those sound really, really good. They were made by High Order Pickups. Excuse me. I talked about them in the past. If ever you're in the States and you want to have some pickups wound for you, they make really great pickups as well. Rick says he's going to be putting in a set of Monty's PAF humbuckers into his newly required, I guess you meant acquired, early 80s Japanese Matsumuko E335 shaped guitar. That's a mouthful. I'm contemplating buying a loom for it as well. In any case, wish me luck. First of all, Rick, you're going to love those pickups. They make great pickups, okay? I don't know if you need the loom. The loom is basically the wiring that goes along with it, the pots, the switches, all that kind of stuff. I think that's what they call them in Europe. I don't know if that's the official name in the States too. I never really refer to them as loom. I usually refer to them as a wiring harness, but they call it the loom. Anyway, you're going to love those pickups, and if you're putting them in a 335, I think it's going to sound fantastic. I wanted to order more pickups from Monty for another guitar. They're really expensive though now, and we're talking euros, right? We're not talking American dollars here. I'm curious to see what he's selling them for now. They're worth it though. I'm telling you, even though they're expensive, they're still worth it. So let me see. So the original PF humbuckers is the ones I have here. They're selling for, man, they're expensive. If you go with a set, let's see here. I don't want to add it to cart. I just want to. Whew, man, they went up. So they're $511 for a set. I'm hoping that's dollars and not euros. They don't specify. Yeah. If that's euros, that's crazy. If it's euros. Even if it's dollars, actually, it's very expensive. So basically, they're selling one pickup for $271. I guess you have to add shipping and whatever else to that. Yeah, man. I'm happy to have a set. Honestly, they're my favorite pickups that I own in all of my guitars for humbuckers. Tom wants to know, anyone here use a Rodecaster Pro 2 or Duo for a guitar interface with amplitude? I think you're using voice text to speech. It's funny because I have to translate all of everything you said, because it says interface with amplitude. Anyways, I know what you mean. I don't use the Rodecaster Pro. I don't do it. Maybe somebody else does. Hey Charles, what's happening? Nice to see you, buddy. How's everything? How's it hanging, man? So Paul's saying what we buy is a manufactured product that has no more value to the maker than cornflakes over cornflakes with raisins. LOL. Nella says they're not my thing, but I did want a Roadstar years ago. I think we're still talking about the Ibanez guitars. If I can find the same Roadstar that I had, I'll buy it back. I don't think I'm ever going to see it again. It was a very limited version of that guitar, and I haven't seen them pop up used anywhere. I always keep my eye out for them though. See, ARF says, look up Tone for days. He's in Hamilton, Ontario. I got some PFs from him before. His site is still up. Check him out. I'll do that. Yeah, man. I always love to support Canadian pickup makers and people that are making products in Canada. Always did, always will. Cool Tune says hey Tony, been playing my Edwards lately. A lot. Such a good tone out of those P90s. Yeah, man. I was playing the SG that I had, that I showed you guys a couple weeks back with P90s. There's just something about those P90s. I just love them. It's like you love them or you hate them, you know? It's one of those things. Rick says, I'm in two minds about going wiring harness, as you call it. It was the picks that I wanted to change because the original ones are very hot and that's not my style. He says I have a set of Lawler Imperials in a Les Paul Tribute. They sound fantastic, but I thought I'd give the Montes a go. I like the Montes pickups, man. If I had the guitar plugged in right now, I'd make you hear them, but it's not plugged in. But they sound really nice and open. And they really sound vintagey. I hate using the term vintagey because what does vintagey actually mean? But to me, they sound really open and they don't sound muddy. They sound almost like Telecaster pickups on steroids. And that's really the sound that I like, especially in the neck. The neck is wonderful. Actually, Rick, there's a video that I made for these pickups. It's out there. And guys, just so you know, I mean, we're here every Sunday and I talk a lot about a lot of different things, but if you go to the YouTube channel Addicted to Gear, there's over 700 videos already there. And most of the stuff that I mention or talk about, I've reviewed. So if you're curious, you want to take a look at it, they're there. I can find them for you, maybe post a link here. Let me see if I can actually do a quick search here. I actually did an interview with Monty, by the way. His name is not Monty. It's Matt Gleason from Monty's Guitars. Matt's a cool guy. He's young, but he's an old soul. He's got a lot of information. I did that 4 years ago. So if you're curious, I asked him a lot of questions about winding pickups and all that good stuff. And he was nice enough to come on the channel and answer all of those questions for me. What I'll do is I'll actually, here, let me post those video links to you guys in case you want to watch. I know it's hard to find. This is the one with the interview, the first one, and I'll post the other one of the actual pickups. That was like 9 years ago. I actually have an unboxing too, so I'll do all of them. Here. Why not? I'll make it easy for you guys. So here's the playing video. You can watch it after. Don't go there now, guys, because, you know, I don't want to lose you guys. Save it for later. And I also have the unboxing. Actually, I think I did 2 interviews with him. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, one 9 years ago and one more recently. So here, these are old videos, guys. So take it with a grain of salt because my technique in recording wasn't the best back then. But not that it's any better now, but, you know, maybe a little bit better. Yes, Cool Tunes, you are getting a gear tour. Yes, I know. I'm talking a lot, right? Okay, let's get to it then. I'm just saving it till the later stage in the today's show because I'm worried that I'm going to be switching to a cell phone, and I have a feeling it's going to go haywire on me, and I would hate for things to just stop. So I'm trying to give you enough content before we jump into that, just in case. Rexomatic says we included a Canadian Godin Fifth Avenue in a series of guitar reaction videos we did this week. The guitar can really rock in addition to doing the jazz thing. This Fifth Avenue is a nice guitar from Godin. A friend of mine bought one of those. And I was actually there when he bought it. And I remember it sounded fantastic. And Wayne says he just bought a sweet candy red Telecaster called a Sparrow Twang Master. Does it have the binding? Candy red's beautiful. I like it with bound. If it has the binding, double bound, candy red is awesome. All right, let's start doing let's do the tour thing. Okay, so for me to do this, I won't be able to use this microphone because I'm gonna be back there. So I'm gonna try to switch camera and switch mic source, but I didn't think ahead. My lapel mics, they have like one light left in the charge, so I'm hoping it's not gonna die. I'm gonna try, see what happens. Okay, guys, we'll play it by ear, man. Like I said, it's live without a net today. So let me just put this guitar down. Let me plug it in, and hopefully we can switch audio and everything. Switch audio and everything without complications. Let's see. I'm just going to go off camera 1 sec and I'll switch, okay? I don't want, while I'm setting up the camera stuff, I don't want to get you guys dizzy. So give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Just going to set this up real quick. And you can start thinking about questions. Hold on. Okay. Can you hear me, guys? Ooh, that's hot. You can probably hear me way better too now, so I don't have to yell. Can you hear me? If it's a yes, we can switch to the other camera. Let's see. I'm just waiting for you to answer my question. It usually takes a few. The video is always quicker than the response. Is it too hot? I'm pretty sure it's going to be too hot. Okay, good. You can hear me. Fantastic. All right, well, let's do it. Let's switch to the other camera and keep your fingers crossed. Now I'm in your right ear. There's no way I can get this thing to be stereo. I don't know. I got to use two mics at the same time. All right, so let's switch. And I'm going to move back there. And hopefully we can do this. I'm going to take off my headphones. So, and by the way, guys, I'm going to also try to enlarge the window for your questions because I'm going to have to read from far away, guys. All right? Okay, good. Let's move. I'll just take this out of the way. Actually, I should do this. Okay, there, that's better. Try. My room is really small, guys, so I'm kind of stuck. All right, so here we are. This is most of the studio you see when I do my reviews, okay? Now, you'll see that I have a couple of amps here set up that you usually see, kind of see. I'll talk about a couple of these amplifiers, and I'll show you a couple of different things here, just so you can see. I can move this a little closer, perhaps. Here, let me try something. Okay, so here's my workstation area. Wave to the camera, boys. That's where I usually do my editing and everything that you see. So you can see the screen there, you can see the speakers and all the goodies. Yeah, I don't have, of course there's the lights, my inspiration poster there, my Clint Eastwood poster. You need to have the good, the bad, and the ugly picture up there with the signature. Love that one. There's a really cool, you're getting the glare off of the light, but there's a really cool drawing here of Stevie, pencil drawing, inspiration. Of course, we have the Fender little plaque. We have my Eddie Van Halen, little pop rock guy. We have my Jimi Hendrix candle there. And then here we have way too many CDs and some DVDs that I purchased over the years. Unfortunately, they don't get much playing time anymore. And just if you're curious to see what kind of stuff I was listening to back in the day, let's just pull something randomly. So we got T-Rex. Gotta have some T-Rex. What else was I listening to? I don't even know what's here anymore. Robert Palmer. Gotta have some Robert Palmer. Blue Note. What else we got here? It's just random stuff, guys. Best of BTO. I don't know. Jeff Beck. And a few others. Anyways, you get the gist of what I used to listen to. Unfortunately, money down the drain these days. There we have my complete. This is a poster that I really love. If you guys can find them, get them. They have everything in here, man. All of the chords, all of the scales. principal chords, relative minor, common chords, supplementary chords, the whole 9 yards. And of course, my Jimmy Page inspiration here. I gotta put this on the wall, but for right now, this is something you don't usually see, but there's also a keyboard here. I have stuff in front of it right now because I wanted to show you the tickle trunk stuff. Tickle trunk stuff is this, full of pedals and effects that I use from time to time. Of course, we have the guitars. These are not all the guitars. These are some of the guitars. I'll show you. I'll give you the play-by-play on those guitars later on, but you can see most of that stuff here. Here you have the, this is the Princeton reverb that I built. This is not a Fender version. This is actually a Tony version. I built this from a kit. I've done reviews. I think I gave you some sound samples on that as well. Sounds great. Love it. Hand wired totally by me, and I didn't kill myself, and it didn't blow up. So that's always good. Of course, we also have the microphone that I like to use. The microphone here is a fathead microphone. Now, when I do my reviews, sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually go straight pipes. I'll do this. I'll use this microphone. And that microphone is a ribbon microphone. Sounds great on most cabinets. Here we have, this is a pedal that I'm going to be reviewing soon. The PAL 800 Gold Overdrive version 4. Sounds amazing. So I'm going to definitely make you hear that. Of course here, 4x12 Marshall cab. Still in decent condition. There's a little holes and stuff, but I'm not gonna bother recovering it or anything like that. It's fine. Beautiful speakers in this thing, makes everything sound fantastic. Of course, Marshall Studio Vintage. This amp is fantastic, guys. It's a steal, man. If you can get these, get them. They're really great. I had a Plexi. I had JCM 800. I had all of those amps from Marshall. They were great. Too loud. This one's great. Not so loud. It's got the half power switch here. So, you know, if it gets too loud, you put it on low. You can still, it's still extremely loud, but it sounds fantastic. And this guy, with this, turns it into a 2-channel amp. Sounds like a JCM 800 when I want to use this with it, and more classic when I use it with that. This even matches. Look at the way, you know, it looks like it belongs, right? Anyway, so that's one of my favorite amps. Let's see here. Any questions, guys, so far? All good? Let's get to some of the guitars. Here you can see the Frankenstrat, also built by me. Love this guitar. This thing turned out really great. Took my time with it, and it plays great, and it sounds great. And I don't need one of the ones from Fender, because I think this one sounds fantastic as is. So love playing that guitar. Do I use the metronome a lot? This guy? From time to time I do, but I have metronome also on my phone. A lot of the multi-effect units that I have also have a drum looper or metronome, so I use those. But yeah, this is like more classic vintage, right? So these are the posters you see, not posters, but canvas that you see in my videos. I love them because they remind me of all my guitars. I have basically one of each, right? I got this guy is basically that guy. This guy is kind of like this guy, or one of the other ones that I have. right? So that's 2. That guy's not here right now, but I have a 335 red like that. That guy is kind of like the middle one there. Actually, no. Where did I put it? It's kind of like this guy. Kind of like this guy before I changed the pickup cover. I used to have the parchment color, and then I changed it to black. So that's that guy. And then this guy reminds me of my Martin. So I don't have the acoustic guitars here today, guys, but you get the gist. So we'll talk about some of these guitars here. You can see my Eddie Van Halen Frankenstrat. This is the Eastman semi-hollow killer guitar. Love it. This is the Fender 52 reissue. This is another beautiful Fender I love to play. 3-tone Sunburst. I showed you the Gibson already. We do have a couple other guitars hiding here. So this is the Charvel that I picked up recently. I showed you that guy. And basically, there's one more. This guy. There's also this guy. This is an E-Art. And I love the color on this guitar. It's got a really nice flame on it. I don't know if you can see that there. Really nice neck on these guitars. The frets on them are amazing. It's a really nice modern Telecaster. Okay, so that one is here. And yeah, and so these are, oh, I almost forgot this guy. This guy is the core model PRS. Really great looking playing guitar. One of the first PRSs that I purchased. Ever since buying this one, I've purchased a few other SE models, but this one is the one that started it all. I'm going to keep this guitar forever. Guys, don't, you can ask questions if you like, because I can still see your questions. So I'll answer them as we go. As far as amps go, we also have the Friedman Dirty Shirley here. This amplifier, you can move the. This amplifier is fantastic. If you're looking like for that JCM 800 sound, sorry, not what am I saying? JCM 800. I'm getting sidetracked with the other amplifier. This is more like a 45. Great amplifier, great sounds. I sometimes go into the cabinet here. This is a Volt cabinet. They're no longer in business, I think, but they made really solid cabinets. These are birch grade, like marine grade birch cabinets, 212 speakers in there. Sound fantastic. This guy, oh, this guy is amazing. Brunetti Plexi, man. This is awesome. This is like a hot rodded Plexi. It sounds fantastic. Made in Italy. Love this amplifier. I don't think I'm ever going to sell this amplifier, to be honest. You got the foot switch here at the top. You have the 2 channels. You got the hot rod. It sounds amazing. You got the solo boost. Solo, all of the adjustments here. Plus you have the switches for mellow, extra, hot rod. So the hot rod is on mellow, and then you have the switch between the channel 1, channel 2. Channel 2 is kind of like a tweed setup because it only has tone and volume. So the tone either gets brighter or more like natural, normal sounding. And then you can go dense. You have a dense switch here if you want to fatten things up. Sounds amazing, guys. It's like an amazing amplifier. It really rocks. And then underneath there, we have an Egnator cab, a 1x12. We have another cab that I made myself to match the Egnator cab. And I honestly forget what speakers are in here. I switch speakers quite often. I have them written on the side. Maybe I can show you that. Maybe I can remember what the heck they are. So I'm sorry if I'm making you guys seasick. Does this give you a EVH tone? Yeah, man. Definitely does. It blows my socks off. Here you can see Celestion A-type speaker here in this guy. That's the egnator that I put in there. In this one here, I can't really read it. I forget. There's a vintage 30. Oh yeah, I remember now. In the Volt one, it's a vintage 30 and a WGS ET65, which is supposed to be the modern version of the speakers that are in here. These are Celestion 65s. They don't sound the same. These sound way better than the ones you can buy today, guaranteed. So not nearly the same at all. Here we have the Supersonic. Still have it. I did change the speaker in the Supersonic. So now that's been modified. And then we have the aux as well, the aux box. If you guys don't know what this is and you're playing loud amplifiers at home, you need this. This is something that is going to allow you to get blistering loud sounds at a reasonable volume recorded. This is awesome. So expensive, but well worth it. And of course, we have the Fractal. This is the Fractal Turbo FM9. It's not on right now, but I use this all the time when I play live, when I record, you know, fooling around. It's all amazing stuff. This is well worth it if you're looking at buying a multi-effects. Now I also have my pedal board here. This is not, this pedal board is always in flux because I use this pedal board and it always changes. Right now, as you can see, Polytune on the right, SP compressor, the NUX 65 pedal. That's a really cool pedal that I've been liking a lot lately. Mojo Hand Rook, right there. 6-band EQ. This is just an inexpensive Joyo, kind of like the MXR pedal, but it does the job. Then we have the Hall of Fame 2. So that's reverb. We have the flashback. That's delay. And I've been playing around with the NUX Mod Core because there's a lot of built-in modulation effects in this particular pedal. So I don't have to carry a whole bunch. And it works really well. I've been really digging it. And it's all powered up with a really good power supply on the bottom of it that I'm not going to bother showing you. And that's it. I mean, other than that, I mean, I can go through a whole bunch of these pedals and stuff if you want to see this, but I mean, I don't know if we need to go to that kind of detail. But just to show you a couple of things that are in the tickle trunk here, there are a couple of goodies that I've tried over the years and did reviews on a lot of this stuff. We got this guy here, which is a pretty nice pedal here. This is the Queen of Tone NUX. Highly recommend it. Sounds great. I don't play it nearly enough. I should. We also have, I also did a review on this guy here, which is kind of like a Friedman clone. They call it the Fireman NUX. Cool pedal. This thing, if you don't have one, you should get them. These things are great. Basically the Mighty Plug Pro. You can plug it into your guitar and make your guitar sound like an amp. And on the go, it's really good. Did a full review on that guy as well. What else do we have in here? Wampler. This is the Pantheon. Great sounding overdrive pedal. And let's see, what else? Maybe one more. I don't want you guys to get bored here. What's in here? I forget. Oh, the Univibe. Yeah, the Univibe is a cool one too. MXR Univibe, everybody needs one of these. These are awesome. Great sounds. And if you guys, somebody was asking me, I think it was, somebody was asking me last week or the week before which of the compressors I prefer. These are great. The Keeley compressor like this is awesome. These are great. Right now I had the other one on my board, the SP, this guy, SP compressor, just because it takes less room, not because it's necessarily better, but I swap between the two. And often there will also, I have the EP booster that is usually on this pedal board, which is not on there today. So unfortunately, I don't have it there, but it's a great pedal. Okay, now let's, do you want me to, if you want me to talk guitars, I mean, I just showed you the guitars briefly. I can show you more, talk about them a little bit. I'm just trying to get things untangled here. Too many things in the way. This is a relatively small studio, guys, small room. So I'll just show you a couple of guitars that are lingering in the back. The Sir Standard Pro, love this guitar. Unfortunately, doesn't get a lot of playtime, but this is probably my favorite neck on a Strat style guitar. Beautiful, sounds amazing, and one of the guitars that I probably will never sell because I'm going to regret selling this thing for sure. They're expensive, but these necks are killer. Just amazing. So a recent acquisition, SG. Got this recently. When I say recently, it's already been, what, 2 years, I think. I don't know why I waited this long to get an SG. These are fantastic. Love this guitar. The neck on this thing is amazing. And I don't know why I just waited, man. I just waited too long for this thing. I should have just grabbed it a long time ago. But I tried them earlier on. I tried these when I was, looking for guitars and stuff like that. I tried these and I never found the right one. But this model, right weight, beautiful neck on it, pickup sound amazing. I regret not grabbing one sooner. Why don't I play it more? I don't play it more because look, 5% of my time, 5% of my time, 5% of my time, so on and so forth. It's going to get more. It's going to be more than 100% of my time. And these are not all the guitars, by the way. These are just some of them. So, these are the ones that I like to play more often. You guys have seen this one. You guys have seen this one. This is one that I built. I was talking earlier about having a Telecaster that is double bound candy. I guess this is like more than candy apple because there's sparkles in it as well. I built this guitar and love it. And you can go out and buy a $2,800 Fender if you want, no problem. But the one I built here sounds great. Locking tuners on it, standard stuff, but it plays fantastic. I love this Telecaster too. And the only thing I probably would change on it is I went with a gloss neck. I actually painted this neck. This is roasted maple. I should have just left it natural, but I can always just take a little bit of sandpaper here and just dull it down a little bit. I think that's what I'm going to do. So Rick wants to know how do I find the difference between the SG and the Telecaster Les Paul? They seem to be in the same guitar with different shapes. No, they're not. Yeah, they're different shapes for sure. The SG and the Les Paul are not nearly the same guitar, completely different. In terms of feel, playability, and stuff like that. It's totally different. David here says, I own 3 electrics. Am I a freak? David, you are a freak. You need more guitars, man. What's the matter with you? Don't worry, I'm sure you're going to catch up. Yeah, so this one, you guys have seen this one. I've showed this one a couple of times. This guitar, Eastman, I was always very curious about this guitar because I had a 335, which I love. I always wanted a Gibson with the split parallelogram inlays like this guitar has. And I happened to come across this here for sale. And man, when I saw it, the flame top, flame maple, you can't really see it all that well here, but you rarely see 335s with tops that have flame like that. Look at this back. Again, you probably can't see it all that well. But when I saw it, I like immediately fell in love with it. I'm like, oh yeah, split parallelograms. And when I played it, it just sounded and played amazingly well. So I said, you know what? I'm going to grab it. And the icing on the cake was the fact that the owner of this guitar had already changed out the pickups and put in 57 Classics. And those are my favorite pickups. So I said, you know what? I had to grab it. And a very nice compliment to my 335. And I wouldn't say that, I mean, side by side, they both play great. They do sound different unplugged, but they play great. I think the 335 sounds better unplugged than this one does, but when they're plugged in, they both sound amazing. So there is a difference. Okay, let's move on. 52 reissue Telecaster. There's not a lot to say about this guitar. It's a reissue, American made, has the vintage specs, has the vintage curve radius on the neck, plays really well. I had changed the pickups on this. They're not the original. I still have the original ones, but they felt a little bit too dark and a little bit like lackluster on the tone, so I upgraded the pickups. And yeah, plays really well. Another guitar that doesn't get a lot of playtime. I have too many Telecasters. So sometimes, you know, I'll grab one of the other ones. But this one is a must if you're a Fender fan and you like Telecasters. Let's move on to the Stratocaster. Everybody needs a Stratocaster in their life. You guys know what this is. Again, this one has a little bit of a beefier neck, but it sounds really great, plays amazingly well. I'm a sucker for the 3-tone sunburst. What can I say? I've always been a sucker for that. And let me grab this and put this out of the way here. And I just want to make sure that I can still see your questions here. Yeah, I can. 3-tone sunburst to me is like what a Strat should be. And I like to see the wood. So this is what I love in Strats, you know? So pretty plain Jane, but it plays great. Jeff says he's got the T486 tonates amazing. Came stock with the Lawler Imperials. Yeah, man, those are other great pickups for sure. So both of those type of pickups are great in the guitar. I got another Telecaster back here. I got to be careful not to knock anything over. This guitar I picked up on a whim. This is a road-worn Telecaster. It's a little bit beat up in the sense that you can see the paint issues here. A lot of this is real. A lot of it's me. The fact that it has thin paint on this guitar is great. Feels beautiful. You can see the neck has been worn in quite a bit. Feels great. This is a really, really good Telecaster in my opinion. These are, the fact that it has individual saddles also makes it a little bit more flexible. And I'm glad I picked this up. This is a made in Mexico version. I picked these up when they were still really inexpensive. Now they've gotten really expensive, but it's great. The buckle rash, you can see the gold underneath because, you know, like the actual color of these candy apple red, the way they get the candy apple red is they spray gold first. So as it wears through, you can actually see the gold. So yeah, great guitar. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Just a couple more. This guy here, this is a great deal. Now, Harley Benton, this is the Pro Series that they have, and I did a review on this guitar. Honestly, this is like the poor man's Sir guitar. The one I showed you earlier, and this one, almost the same type of body on it. Look at this neck. Look at this neck, roasted neck. And this is, I love necks that don't have poly on them, and this is like fantastic. Floyd, if you like the Floyd, humbucker, great guitar. These guitars were selling for peanuts. Now I don't know how much they're selling them for, but if you can still grab these guitars, grab them. Sleeper guitars worth, I don't know, 4 times what they cost. Amazing. So glad to have one. I don't play it enough, but it's a fantastic guitar. Am I losing you guys? Any other questions here? I'm going to show you a few more of the guitars, but I just want to make sure that I can answer your questions if you have any. Drum throne is a nice touch. I used to play drums, Davis. I played drums for a few years. Actually took lessons and everything. Kept the drum throne. These are fantastic because they rotate. Look at this. It's fantastic. I love them. So in terms of adjustment, they're really comfortable. Also for playing guitar, not just for drums. Shredding Finn says, that's my most played guitar I have. It's so good for the money. You're talking about the Harley Benton? Yeah, that's a great guitar if that's what you're talking about. The 3-tone was the first for the Stratocaster, right? It could have been a 2-tone before they got to the 3-tone. Not even sure. That's a good question. I'm going to have to check. Somebody Google that for me, please. All right, let's carry on. A couple more. Oh, well, this one, I might as well show you this one again. This one here, core model PRS guitar with just a single stop tail wraparound. Fantastic. This is aluminum. Great sounding pickups on this model. As I mentioned, I bought this sight unseen from eBay. Love the top on this thing. It's a 10 top with the flame. Just fantastic. Plays extremely well. And it's one of these guitars I'm not going to sell, ever. Just a great guitar. Jeff says the sign of a true guitar addict when a Sir and an HB Harley Benton share the stand. Hey man, I'm not picky. When it comes to guitars, a good guitar is a good guitar. It doesn't really make a difference if it's a $500 guitar or a $4,000 guitar. I enjoy them. If they're good, they're good. To me, I don't really look at the price. So yeah, not enough P90 guitars around there. No, unfortunately. I don't, like I said, these are not all my guitars. These are just a few. So the P90s are not here today, but I should have grabbed one. Let's carry on. Another Telecaster. This is a custom built Telecaster that I made. As you can see, the body on this one has the contour. So it has the tummy tuck, and the arm bevel here. I like this body, so I decided to make a custom Telecaster. You can see the grain on this one. I think it turned out extremely well. And I like the rosewood necks on these, fender neck, best of everything, and it turned out great. It's a little heavy. This one's a little heavy, but it's solid. It's a great playing, great sounding guitar. Yeah. Did I paint any of those Telecasters? Not this one. The one that I did paint is not here. I have a few. I have a butterscotch one that I made that is like that one that I painted. It's not here. I have a purple one that I painted that's not here also. I painted this guy. That's all me, the EVH. Of course, you can't have a Strat without having a Gilmore Strat. So this is a Gilmore model, black pickguard, cream tone. Unfortunately, this doesn't match, so I'm going to eventually have to change that out to match these ones. These are a little bit more creamy looking, but it's a great playing Strat. More vintage style neck, more glossy, right? So, do the cuts make the Telecaster make a big difference in comfort? Yeah, somewhat. It's always more comfortable to have the tummy tuck. Telecasters are somewhat square, so whenever you have tummy tucks, it always makes it more comfortable. This is a guitar that I got just the other day. You're going to see this in a review I just made for this guitar, and you're probably going to see it tomorrow. Headless guitar. This guitar is amazing. Very inexpensive, under $500 in Canada. I didn't think I'd like this guitar. I love this guitar. It's one of the only headless guitars that I have. I've tried headless guitars before. Didn't really bond with them all that much. This one, it's a keeper, man. Awesome guitar. So if you don't believe me, try one for yourself and then tell me I'm wrong. Okay? Anyways, that video will be out tomorrow. As you can see, there's a trend here. This is another Telecaster, obviously Telecaster Custom. This one I changed the pick guard on recently. It had the cream pick guard. I think the dark one looks better in my opinion. You can see the trend is rosewood necks. Just love rosewood necks. A great guitar. What can I say? This one needs new strings on it. They're a little rubber banding sounding, so I have to change those, which I'm gonna do. And last but not least for today, at least, Kramer Beretta. This is a Beretta Special, modified. Changed the pickup on this one, JB, and I threw a Vega trem in there. The rest is stock. You can get these for under $300 all day long at your local store. This one is the earlier model. I know they were making them in Indonesia and then China, or China and Indonesia. Anyways, this is an earlier model. I find the earlier models, the older models, feel better than the newer ones. I like this one so much I bought another one. So not the same color, but I got two of these. Figured, what the hell, if you want to mod them, these things, $200, $250 all day long. On the used market, you can probably get them for like I'm gonna say, under 200 if you get lucky. So that's the tour, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if you have any other questions. Let me switch to the other camera here real quick, just because, there we go. Regular camera. So yeah, let the questions fly if you have any. Otherwise, we'll start with a wrap up, But I just wanted to give you the quick tour. A lot of you guys have been asking me for it, and last week you guys were kind enough to get the buy the actual reward to get the tour. So I figured it would be a good time for you to get that tour. I hope you appreciate it. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much. Jimmy Z says, sweet, a Kramer Beretta with a Vega tram and a JB. Man, I bet that thing rocks. Simple, but rocking. It does rock, and the neck on that thing is really fast because it's really thin. Throw a JB in there, man, and you're in business. I find that it's such a great modding platform. Like, you can't buy a body and a neck with all the hardware and everything on it for like $200 these days. These guys, you can get them used most of the time for that kind of cash. So take that, modify it, and you're in business. Hey, Orion, nice to see you, man. You just missed the tour. I just did a tour of everything here. If I could buy only one type of guitar, it would be a Telecaster, says Jeff. I mean, honestly, Telecasters are a no-frills guitar. Like, you can take a Telecaster and you can get Strat sounds out of it, you can get Les Paul sounds out of it, and you can get the in-betweens. It's a very versatile instrument. I think, Leo Fender got it right with a Telecaster, like right off the bat. And, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more versatile guitar. Not everybody appreciates the Telecasters for what they are, unfortunately. It took me a long time to come to grips with the looks. I never was a big fan of the Telecaster when I was younger because I never thought they looked cool. But, as I got older, cool is not the most important thing. It's really the sound and how flexible and how great a guitar it is. And you can't beat a Telecaster, man. I keep buying Telecasters. They're great. Do I have any favorite looper pedals? I have a couple that I've tried. I like the one from TC Electronic, the simple one, the small one that they have. That one's great. They have a new one out that's even better, I think. I haven't tried that one yet, but that one works really well. I have a New X version as well in one of those boxes there, probably at the bottom. I'm not going to dig through it to try and find it, but it's there somewhere. It's got more bells and whistles. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in terms of internal memory and storing your patches and drum loops and all kinds of crazy things like that. But honestly, most of the time, you don't need all of that. I feel the simpler, the better. And give me one switch, record, play, repeat, delete. That's all you need. So. Nella wants to know, does the aux box allow you to switch between amp heads? I know nothing about them other than they're expensive. They're not that expensive when you consider what they do. They're amazing because they can do so many different things, but they only allow you to throw in one amp at a time. It would be great if you can have a switcher built into there, but you can't. So you have to use a switch box or something if you're going to go into it. But I usually just connect one amp at a time. It just works. It works better for me. So that's why I have it on this side, because the cables are not that long. So I can go to that amp and that amp, but I really can't go to that amp. So I'll just switch them around if I need to play, switch the amps around a little bit. Nella says the Telecaster bridge pickup is nearly perfect. A lot of people do like the bridge aspect. I think they have enough cut, have enough punch. They cut through the mix really, really well, guys. Telecasters, if you ever have trouble being heard in a mix, Telecaster, no problem. I mean, what do you consider a Telecaster weakness, Gene? Maybe I'll agree with you once I understand what you're referring to, but I mean, I can't think of that many, other than you can't put a Floyd on it. It'll look weird with a Floyd, that's for sure. Rick says, I guess you're a bit of a Telecaster guy. I have the Ventura modified in Daphne Blue, made in Mexico. I love it. I am. I mean, I love Telecasters. I was playing Telecasters exclusively for a while. It's kind of like I started with Strats, love Strats, played Strats for a long time, then jumped to Les Paul style guitars, then went to a Telecaster, played Telecasters almost exclusively for a long time, then dabbled with, the 335 and stuff like that, and eventually tried the SGs. Now I have two of those SGs. And now I'm going back to the Strats with my Charvel, but it's a Super Strat. So it's like it's the same style, but totally different sound. Danielle says, I actually enjoyed the GC ad with Julian Lage talking about the Player 2 Telecaster. Quite a moving ad with someone speaking calmly with real passion. Now, I did mention in the review of the Charvel that I wasn't a big fan of the Player 2 Stratocasters, but I haven't tried a Player 2 Telecaster yet. So I would like to try that and see, if that's something that I would get along with. I didn't really like the Player 2 Stratocaster because it was more expensive than what you're getting with the Charvel. The Charvel has a better Floyd on it. It does have hotter pickups, so that leave it or take it or leave it depending on what you enjoy. But the neck on the Charvel feels way better in my opinion. So that with the less expensive cost of the guitar, I thought it was a better option. So Gene brings up intonation with the 3-barrel setup. Yeah, that's true. Obviously if you have individual saddles, it's better. But you can get it in pretty close, Gene. A lot of people, you can get it in there. You can dial it in. And Gene says the body is uncomfortable for many. Yeah, I mean, it's a squarish type of body, but nowadays they have the tummy tucks and they have the armrests and all that kind of stuff too. So I don't think that's an issue anymore. So if you get a more modern version with all the contours and you get the 6 saddle setup for a bridge, you're in business. Music and Gear says Telecasters are rocking guitars. I agree with you, man. Orion Quest says Telecasters, top loader or string through. I tend to, when I think Telecaster, I think string through. You can do the top loader, but I feel like the real sound comes through on a Telecaster when you go string through. Yeah, so. Gene says some don't like that 714 radius. Yeah. Music and Gear says I like the Super Telecaster more than a Super Strat. I mean, there's so many variations today. There's something out there for everyone. You can find a modified version of most any guitar today. If you want to put P90s in a Telecaster, you can do that. You can put humbuckers. You can mix them up. So many things you can do. Rick says the TC Electronic Ditto 2 Mini is the same as the original Mini, but with added feature that it corrects to make a perfectly timed loop. That's correct, Rick. They made it dummy proof, so I need to get one. Music and Gear says Schecter makes a great Super Telecaster with an FR bridge. Yeah, there's so many awesome guitars out there, man. Too many guitars, too little time. That's what I say. But anyway, guys, I think that's it for today. We're going to wrap it up. Unless there's other questions, like last minute questions here or something that I missed early on, let me know. because I may have missed a comment or two as I was showing you the tour. But compensated brass saddles for Telecasters are great. They even have new ones now that are compensated, and they have ridges in them, so you can actually space out your strings the way you want them to be, and they won't move. That was always an issue with some of the barrel type bridges on Telecasters before, but I think Music City just came out with something new for that, which works really well. So, hey, Green Rumor, you're showing up late, dude. We went through all kinds of stuff. You missed it. You're gonna have to watch the rerun. What's my favorite Telecaster body wood? Believe it or not, you're gonna maybe laugh at me, but I still think that pine is probably the best wood for a Telecaster. The early Telecasters that Leo made were made of pine. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. I have a Telecaster, the purple one that I don't have here today, but you've probably seen in the background a few times. That one I painted myself. That body was made of pine, is made of pine, 100-year-old pine. And it's great. So resonant. It's amazing. Now, a lot of people don't like pine because they find it's a cheap wood, and it's, it dings easy because it's relatively soft. But honestly, I think it sounds great. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Music and Gear. It was fun for me to do it. Gene says best Telecaster best is in ash or pine. Yeah, I agree with the pine. Ash is good too. We all love a good piece of ash. Da-doom, doom. Come on, guys. It's a joke. Jeff says the Telecaster removes as much option paralysis as possible. Pick it up and play it. That's absolutely true, man. It's great in its simplicity, and this is something that artists strive for. When you make something or you create something, you want to end up with something that has everything you need and nothing that you don't. And I think that is exactly what the Telecaster is. Very simple, straightforward, but it just does the job, and that's why I think it's fantastic. Hey, Max. You're going to have to watch the rerun, dude. We're almost at the end of the show. We had a special show today. For those of you who came late, I did the tour of the studio, and I showed you a whole bunch of stuff that I promised that I was going to do. So, yeah, if you're late, you're going to have to watch the rerun, guys. Sorry. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Thank you for coming and enjoying the little tour. We'll do it again sometime. Well, when we have an opportunity to do it again, we will. If you're late, watch the reruns. If you had questions and you're late, just put it in the chat. I will answer your questions even after the show is done. So if you have questions that come up while you're watching it again, no worries. Just put it in the comment section and I'll get to it. I promise. Green Rumor says, I'm pining for the Anderson like Prince had. Yeah, a lot of people like that one for sure. And Gene says, SG is the Gibson Telecaster. Kind of. You're welcome, Marcel. All right, guys, have a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Get out there and play your guitars. Whether you're playing alone or playing for someone, just make sure you play and stay out of trouble. Okay? We'll catch you again next week, next Sunday. You know what to do. Same place, same time. Come prepared with questions. And we'll have a poll question next week too. Okay? All right, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.